Kevin Love for Paul George. It's where we begin. It's your cold open.
Do you want to stay in Indiana, and how do you proceed at this point? Does the All-NBA situation will that have an impact on what you do?
I ain't even at that point yet, Bob. Next question. It's real frustrating to, continue on losing, to the same team or same person. It's real frustrating. It's what I work hard for in the summers, to try to help lead a team of my own. And ultimately, this is who I'm going to always have to see and face. But again, came up short.
I don't believe it! The most amazing, sensational, dramatic, heart-rending.
It's DA's top story.
Here he goes!
It's your cold open.
That was Paul George following another early playoff exit, and everybody is wondering if Paul George is just going to sign somewhere else as a free agent next summer, why wouldn't the Pacers trade him now to get something back for him? Golliver writes, quote, "A trade built around Love for George looks like a win-win-win. While George is the superior player, Love carries no flight risk. He's under contract until 2019. Pairing Love with the young center Miles Turner would give Indiana a modern, versatile front line to build around. Moving George for Love would qualify as a retooling effort, allowing the Pacers to remain in the mix in the East rather than sliding back in the lottery. Plus, Larry Bird's successor, Kevin Pritchard, said last month he doesn't believe in tearing it down. Kevin Love would give the Pacers a proven all-star in his prime to market and build around." So here's the thing. Paul George to the Cavaliers, the Cavs would do that in a heartbeat. And not because Kevin Love has not lived up to his end of the bargain, not because Kevin Love is a disaster, because Kevin Love was a crucial part of the championship last year. And Kevin Love certainly played well this year in the playoffs. And he was most comfortable in year 3 with his roles as a rebounder, as a shooter, as a third scoring option than he ever was in the first 2 seasons. So Kevin Love, this is not about the Cavs wanting to trade Love because he hasn't paid dividends. It's about he's really the only movable commodity. He's the only guy anybody would want out there because you're not going to move, obviously, LeBron or Kyrie. And so the rest of your team, nobody wants Tristan Thompson with that cap number. Nobody wants Iman Shumpert or J.R. Smith. Darren Williams and Kyle Korver are just very small pieces of a puzzle. You don't have draft picks to trade. You don't have a ton of cap space. What do? So Kevin Love becomes the obvious thing that you would move. So from that standpoint, yeah, it makes sense to use him as the chip. And getting Paul George back, look, Paul George could be a defensive stopper. Paul George is an excellent defensive player. And if George could handle those primary defensive responsibilities, allowing LeBron and Kyrie to then drop back a peg in what they've got to do defensively, it's a great, great fit. The Cavs would love it, absolutely love getting that thing done. And, what Kevin Love brings to the table, you can get cheaper. Paul George, you can't get cheaper. He's a superstar. Kevin Love's rebounding, well, you should get it from Tristan Thompson, but you can get it cheaper. Kevin Love's three-point shooting, again, you can get it cheaper. So you can supplement that roster if you get Paul George in. My question is, if you swap Love out for George, are you better? Are the Cavs meaningfully better? Defensively, they're better, and that is something that I talked about yesterday's show. That the Cavs had to be more committed. They had to be more disciplined on the defensive side if they were going to beat the Warriors, and they just weren't. So getting George in there would help do that. But you swap out Love for George, you don't have 4 superstars. You're still at 3. Here's the rub, though. I don't think the Pacers do that. I don't think that's enough of a haul for the Pacers to move Paul George because everybody in the league is going to be snapping at trying to get Paul George. Is Kevin Love coming back for the Pacers without significant draft picks or other young players going to be enough for the Pacers to pull that trigger? I don't think so. It's not terrible because Kevin Love's a good player. But again, if the Pacers are looking to remain competitive, but also start adding to their roster, bringing back Kevin Love is just not enough. So that's why I don't think it's going to happen. That's why I don't think it would happen. But it's interesting to talk about. It's interesting to think about because a Cavs team with Paul George looks different than this series. I think the series looks different against the Warriors.